on the road. It's got a long way to go. But the other thing that is a national headline that actually is important, not just my crusty car moving under its own motivation, is a pickup truck that has the automotive media a buzz right now. In fact, this is called the Slate. And what is the Slate? I love what this truck is. And I'll give you a disclaimer. It is an EV, and it's an EV that I like. Yeah, which means it has to do a couple of things, means it has to be a certain way. And what I really like about this pickup truck is, for one, it is a small pickup truck. And by small pickup truck, it is virtually the same size as a 1980s Ford Ranger. And that is important. That is interesting. The other thing that's interesting with it is it doesn't have a touchscreen in the dashboard. It doesn't even have power windows. Yeah, you see where I'm going with this. On this show, for years now, I have been saying up and down, I don't like EVs, but it's not even so much the EV part I don't like. It's the touchscreens. It's the complicated electronics. It's the stuff that can break. It's the stuff that's expensive. It's the stuff that I don't want. Why doesn't somebody just make a simple back to basics EV? Something that has an electric drivetrain for motivation, but is otherwise just a car. That's it. Now, this is a good step in that direction. Now, I have also said that I want an EV that is focused on right to repair. I want this thing to be cheap to work on. I want the parts to be common, accessible, available. I want things like inverters, motors, all sorts of stuff to be off-the-shelf parts that I can fix on my own. Now, I don't know if this is going to be there yet, but it's a really good start. Now, Slate, it's an interesting company because I hadn't heard about it until the news of this truck hit the media. And it turns out that Jeff Bezos owns the Slate. Yes, I know last week I was slamming on Jeff Bezos' space company, and I still maintain that I probably will never get invited onto a Blue Origin space flight, but that's okay, because I'm perfectly happy being on the ground where things are nice and, stable, not in the atmosphere, perilously inches away from explosion. But also, you can hear my whole rant about that space flight. We turned the show into the Space Mode of ADHD show last week. But having said all of that, Jeff Bezos' company, he has a stake in this. I don't really know if he founded it, if he owns it outright, but he has a pretty big stake in this company. And I like it. I actually like it. Now, here's some measurements for you, just so you can get a idea of the size of this truck. So it measures 174.6. You got to get that 0.6 in there, inches from nose to tail. And the wheelbase is 108 inches for a pickup truck. Now that's actually an inch shorter than the first gen Ranger. I said this was close in size to a 1980s Ranger. It's actually an inch shorter overall. But here's the thing. With the standard bed, this actually has more cargo space than a first generation Ranger, which is cool to see. Now, if you compare it, by the way, to the Ford Maverick, the other small truck on the market here in the United States, the Ford Maverick is quite a bit bigger. It's the wheelbase rather is 121 inches, and overall it's 199.7 inches long. So that is currently the smallest road legal pickup truck you can buy in the U.S. market. Of course, Japan is out here making fantastic, wonderful K-trucks that we can't have until they're 25 years old. And some people would rather you not have them at all because somehow driving one is more dangerous for the driver than riding a motorcycle. Yeah, legislators haven't really figured out what motorcycles are yet, so I guess they haven't figured out what K-trucks are either and why they're, it's different than being on a motorcycle. But I digress. This is a wonderfully small pickup truck, and this fits in a really cool niche, okay? So it has knobs for the climate control, no touchscreen, like I said. It has manual crank windows, and it's got a dinky little 52 kilowatt hour battery pack. It's good for 150 miles, and the vehicle weighs 3,600 pounds. Still kind of heavy for a small truck, but it's an EV. They're going to be heavy. They're going to be heavy. And it's got about 201 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. But for a dinky little truck, it does have a bigger battery pack option. You can get it with up to a 84.3 kilowatt hour battery pack. I don't know what that actually means in terms of distance and other things, but this is a wonderfully cool truck. And even more so, they're saying it's going to cost under $20,000. That is cool. So a small truck that's basic, back to roots, under 20 grand, small, cheap, simple. This is what Ford should have been making. This is what Toyota should have been making for years. Toyota used to make trucks like these. They used to. This has got such a cool niche, though. Imagine like inner city deliveries. Maybe you want to use it as a simple little farm truck in the place of a ATV or a side-by-side. It's got so much cool opportunity. I know I'm not a big EV guy, but this fits into a niche where that EV part could make a ton of sense. And it's a cool small truck. I love it. I love it. Why don't we have more of these? So, hey, you're listening to the Automotive ADHD show. Coming up after the break, I think I hear Jim Miller coming in. He's going to be on, and we're going to talk about a new Pope Mobile.